Hi everyone, Dominic here at Redleaf Exotics. I'm so excited to say that today we're going to be doing a tour video and the first one in the new greenhouse facilities, which looks so amazing. We've just been building my dream greenhouses for a little over a year now. They're finally up and running. There's still a lot to build, but overall I'm so happy with how things are running and how smooth things are in the new greenhouses, and it is time to do a tour video. So we're gonna get into it. We'll look at some beautiful plants. We're not gonna look at every plant, we'd be here for eternity, but let's geek out and look at some beautiful Nepenthes and other plants. Here we go. So we are going to start in the front of the greenhouse where it is much cooler, and this is where most of the Highland species are growing. Right here on the front table, you could see we have some beautiful Nepenthes hamata here. Look at the picture on that thing. And these have done exceptionally well. You know, they actually grew in a lot quicker than I thought they would compared to some of the other Neps, but they are filling out a lot of beautiful pictures on them, and definitely loving the new setup so much. I did go ahead and start potting a lot of different plants, mainly species in the coconut, and see how they do in here. I've been able to use net pots again, which are these. They're netted and they allow for a lot of airflow. The sphagnum is starting to grow back from the dead sphagnum out of the sides of some of them, so that's a good sign. But everything is looking so good. So happy I could use net pots again. In the other greenhouse I couldn't. They would just dry out way too fast. The irrigation wasn't as good in there, but everything in here is perfected. Look at this stunning Nepenthes Aroids. Let's see if I could zoom in there. This one is quite large. It gets pretty large lower pictures. And I just love the shape of them. Beautiful. Originally got this one from a seed-grown plant from my friend Mikhail at Orchids. Thank you, Mikhail. I love this plant. It's so beautiful. Let's see what else we got. We have Heliamphora on this table. They're looking good. It's been really nice to see some plants in here that are growing so beautifully, and they just kind of didn't do as well in the other greenhouse. They just sat there. They didn't look as good, but overall, most all of the plants are doing better than ever. There's very few that I'm like feeling insecure about. They're all trying to thrive. Here's a stunning new picture coming, and the first on Leviathan, which is Raja with Peltata from Jeremiah. Huge. It's going to be so big. I wish that opened for our open house we had just a couple days ago, which was so exciting. If you guys were here, thank you so much for coming. I was being pulled in a million directions, and I wish I spent more time with each individual, but overall we had a really good time. Here's a nice Nepenthes veitchii. And a lot of people ask me why I use like this pot here. I just felt like using it. It's a net pot. I was picturing that the moss would just grow up over the edge onto this, and it could look really interesting. Maybe it won't, but we will see. You can see more veitchii. There's some lowiis in here, maxima. This is a cool newer hybrid. This is jambon crossed with the Heliamphora. Really neat pictures on that. Here's another Heliamphora. Look at those lid bristles. But everything's looking good. The sphagnum moss looks amazing. You could see on the wall I put cattle panel, and we have a lot of orchids, air plants, and other botanical oddities growing out over here. One of my favorites, Anthurium schizerianum. And a lot of these are on drippers, so they get really good moisture in the morning, something I lacked in the other greenhouse. It's so nice that everybody gets water. Here's a stunning Saphronitis coccinea, a beautiful orchid. Let me see if I could zoom in on that. So pretty. Here's a really cool one, and my favorite of all Hoya imbricata. It kind of looks like a parasite or something that would live in the ocean, but really cool suction cups that just latch on and cover everything they grow on. Really bizarre looking. Here is a Nepenthes epiphytica, producing uppers, just growing up the wall, kind of like it's wild. And I have it in this net pot here with beautiful sphagnum. Different orchids. This one's a Laelia. Everything just looks so good over here. Bulbophyllum electricum. Stunning. One of my favorites, Anthurium schizurianum var Rothschildianum. Looks like it's splattered in blood. But the walls have been doing pretty well. There's a lot of staghorns on them. A lot of space to still fill, which we love. The space in the new greenhouse has been life-changing. It's so nice to have so much space to give the plants a proper space to grow out and spread. And each plant could be seen in its own light. Ooh, we got Ventricosa porcelain. This one took a while to come around, but it is back. And look at those beautiful wasted pitchers. Love that. Adriadnii. You could see all the moss growing on the benches. The light in the new greenhouse has been so phenomenal. I really could tell that the light in this greenhouse is having so much more of a positive impact on the plants compared to the last. It was pretty dark in there during certain times of the day. Look at the Lowii, they're huge. And if you're not familiar, we always got to tell the story about in the wild, a mouse-like creature called a shrew will sit on these, eat this pure sugar that comes out of the lid, and they will poop or defecate into the pitchers, and that is mostly how this plant's getting its nitrogen source in the wild. Blows my mind every time. Save the shrew so we could save Lowii. What would happen to Lowii if the shrew couldn't poop in it? It's just crazy to think of the time it took to make that symbiotic relationship and how the both benefit from one another. But the Lowias are looking pretty good, especially for the heat of summer. It has been so hot, up into the 90s a lot, but everybody's kind of pulling through. They're looking good. Here's a nice Edwardsiana. This thing took forever to come back. It's an Exotica plants form, but man, the eddies really took a long time to settle in. They're just now starting to pitcher since moving in February. Here's another nice Lowii. This one is so black. Beautiful pitchers on that. We got the undulatifolia down here. And it gets its name from the undulated leaf margins that are kind of wavy. Ooh, we got tentaculata. Love tentaculata. This one is a dark purple form from Exotica. Love the slanted mouth on that. Some more Lowii. Different forms. We got Trasmati, Kinnablue. We have the Mulu. And again, they have not been mined in the warmer temperatures. It gets around, the highest so far in here, 84 in the day, but it's usually around 80. And the nights with the dead of heat right now are only going to around 70. But the plants definitely don't mind it, especially since the winter cool will be back. Here's some uppers on undulatifolia. Really cool species. I like how big and round the uppers are on it. We have a mollusk here producing some uppers. And exciting, it's blooming female. Actually, I have a friend with male pollen, so we're going to try to make, I think, what maybe will be the first horticulturally produced seed-grown mollusk. Could be wrong, but I don't think anybody's come out with seed-grown ones yet. Here's a beautiful jambon. It gets its name from the Indonesian word toilet. Look at the pictures on this thing. And the fluids in this plant are so syrupy, super viscous. They do catch a lot of little bugs. Got some mirajas over here. I have to say the one that is planted in Canuman Akadama is doing the best. Minimal leaf spotting compared to the other ones, and the leaf growth it's holding a lot of beautiful leaves. The ones in cocoa aren't doing too bad, but a little more spotty. They definitely don't like a lot of water just sitting on the leaves, but overall they're doing good. Here is another eddy. Here's another eddy. Again, just producing its first pitcher in the new greenhouse. Took forever. My eddy and some friends say too that they just hate being repotted. Mine really hate being repotted. They just sulk for months before starting to grow back. Here's a nice one. This is Lowii crossifippiata. Oh my god, this is so beautiful. Best traits from both parents, super dark, and growing so happily. The Lingulatas, they've been taking their sweet time coming around too. This one just produced a base shoot. I'm waiting for it to get its upper pitchers. Lingulata is not a plant that's always in pitcher for me. I'm surprised this one pitchered, but we are in the new greenhouse. I can't wait to see how they do. Usually all summer long, I would have no pitchers, and just mainly fall and spring when it was cooler, but I just think that may be the light in the old greenhouse. We're going to give that one time, and hopefully it will always be in pitcher in here. Here is a Clypeata. Just opening, steadily getting there and increasing in size. Nepenthes ramaspina. Doing really well. A macrophylla that hated being moved, but it is starting to put out some nice growth. The toothy Highland species definitely take their time growing back. Here are some Trismatiensis pictures. But everything looks pretty good up front. We have Heliamphora table with some different carnivorous bromeliads. We got Brachynia reducta, acuminata. Just got these in the collection. So excited. The Orchanthes skeptrum from Venezuela. These grow naturally with Heliamphora and the Tepuis. Really wanted these forever and so happy to finally have them in the collection. This is a Racine undescribed species, also grows up with the Helis. I just love that pointed tank kind of shape. But the Helis look pretty good too. They're all just starting to fill in. Everything was repotted down to bare root in here. So it definitely took a hit. But nothing, barely lost anything. Everything overall is pretty happy. You can see their pings down here. Everything overall is pretty happy and didn't get too angry being moved. You could tell that it loves the new greenhouse, that's for sure. These are all Trismatiensis cross Edwardsiana. Newer hybrids from Exotica. Super toothy, and a lot of these open super striped, and then they kind of darken up. Here's a newer release that I'm excited to see mature. This is Lingulata with Edwardsiana. from Exotica. Super dark Ling picture so far. Will they get huge? Probably, from the Edwardsiana. Everything, it seems, the EP breeds with it just gets massive. Here is Edwardsiana crossed with Mollis. Also starting to pick up size and doing better than it's ever done. Here is another TM Eddie. Can't wait to see them mature. Got a little bit of black moldy soot stuff on this one, but this is Ventricosa trismatiensis cross Edwardsiana. Look at the pictures on that. And then here we come to my favorite table, Nepenthes veitchii. Oh my god, they all look so good. The veitchii have really put on a lot of pictures from having 0 to now what they have. And they are just looking amazing. I just didn't think that the plants would fill in this fast. They really filled in quick since February. The beautiful Candy Dreams. These are some older pictures that just opened a few months ago. Working on a new leaf. I love this golden one. Here's Jeff Wong. We just created, and they're sprouting, Jeff Wong crossed with Candy Dreams. Let's see. There are actually some right in front. There's a little tiny one right there sprouting. These ones are sprouting a little slower, but they are sprouting. The ones in the back, there's more sprouting. I have them up front in the open and also in the back covered up. This plant has been insane. Our squat pink M. Oh my god, this thing is so beautiful. Huge pictures. These are the biggest pictures it's ever had for me. And it says they love the new greenhouse. We got Red Tiger, a few other ones popping out there. Here's another M. Some things are looking a little blown out on the camera. I hope not, but we'll find out when we upload it. Here are more beautiful M. This is the female that I breed a lot with. I love the offspring she gives us. They're always so stunning. It's the female to our Agrex. Here's another stunning M. Exotica's M all have just been phenomenal. I love that Grex they created. Here's a stunning Barrio from seed, a golden one. Nice big pictures on this. Love it. But the veitchii are popping. The sphagnum moss is really taking off in here. This is what I mean by it growing back from the dead. See it just growing out of the sides of the net pots? That means good quality light and water. Here's another beautiful one that's just opening, that same female M. Love it. So that's the veitchii table, most of up front. Here is a ping display I created, made that video of a few months back. Looking good. Gotta fill it with some water, but overall looking good. You can see I have been using a lot of net pots, a lot of cocoa for certain plants. And the moss is just going crazy in here. Really excited for these Truncata Giant Cross Macrophylla from Exotica. A newer release. Looking really squat and tubby compared to Trunk Eddie. Here is Sibunensis. again, not too shabby for just a few months. Here's another wall loaded with cool plants. I have some sphagnum growing down here. It is so happy on the floor. So that's where I'm gonna grow and prop it. See what we have over here. Beautiful semi-carnivorous bromeliad catopsis. The light might be a little wanky over here. Here's an I May Be. Nice striped pictures. The staghorns have been doing amazing too. Look at these things. So happy. We got some ant plants. That one's almost 30 years old. But everything looks really good. Oh, here's one. Velosa veitchii. I made that up. It's Peltata velosa. God, I just wanted to say a Nepenthes name. Got our stunning Grace of La Flora over here. Loaded with pictures. Some Brahms. This is the door that will lead to the second greenhouse. Once I get that finished, I'll continue building it in the fall. This area is looking crazy. There's a lot of Grace of La Flora in here. There's so many. This plant's loaded with some Lowii ventricosa B giant form from Exotica hiding in. Staghorn ferns, lots of Brahms. We're gonna go to the other side and see more of this. Beautiful, one of my favorite hybrids. Just what a classic. Those Lowii like uppers. We're gonna come back up across. The Aroids are doing amazing. We just built a wall in the back, which I'll show you for them. This is the variegated Spiritus Sancti that I created back 3 years ago already. It's my favorite one and my main keeper plant. What a run it has been with Spiritus. This plant changed my life. The Spiritus alone helped fund all the greenhouses, so it really is a spirit. We truly love it. Thank you so much, Spiritus Sancti, and definitely a plant I'll always love and just so amazing to have here in the greenhouse. I can't wait to see that big one, or this variegated one here, get big. It's going to be phenomenal. It's really starting to look good, and it holds a lot of leaves. And I like the pink in it. Anthurium veitchii blowing in the breeze, also filling out and loving the new greenhouse. It looks so good. Oh, I don't even think I noticed that there was a new leaf coming out. Beautiful. I love the fresh leaves on this plant. We got the giant Alcantaria imperialis, a beautiful bromeliad. I love the glaucosy blue color. It's huge. Love this Alocasia Jacqueline. Beautiful leaves on it. There's my favorite hybrid, Lowii truncata giant. Exotica's Beast. I love this plant. Really starting to do well. It just flowered, so made some good hybrids, but it's covered in pictures. For the large plants, such as that, and right there, truncata fifpiata giant, I made this cattle panel room divider, and that's where I'm growing a lot of, you know, staghorns on, but over here I'm growing some huge Nepenthes, plants that just get so big for on the bench that I think they would be nice, and they have been doing nice, over in their own area, growing up the cattle panel. But look how big some of these pictures are. They're huge. I feel like the camera never does them justice. You just have to see them in person. I hear that all the time when people come. Oh my God, they don't look anything like that in the photos. They really don't. Even me looking on the camera now holding this, it looks so small. I don't know if it's because I have big hands or what it is, but these pictures are huge. And just covering this whole wall. Here's a stunning predator upper, Truncata hamada. This one just started to picture Lowii giant, or Lowii Morelliana giant. Some pretty big uppers on it. Love that. And the sphagnum moss has been doing amazing, even on the ground. I'm gonna pop back over the front. There is Mama Spiritus up there. Also took a minute to find out where she likes it. Definitely she likes the shadier wall. She didn't like being out in the full sun area, or brighter area, I should say. Some cool staghorn mounts. We just made this one with the deer skull. Love it. But everything looks good. A lot of different Aroids, more Alcantaria. Love that. So huge and beautiful. The staghorns have been loving their new home as well. They finally have space and they never dry out. Well, they get dry, but they get water the next day, so beautiful. Anthuriums. It's definitely a jungle in here now, and it has been just the way the plants are growing. It looked so barren a few months ago, and now it's starting to get that, not overgrown feel, but you could tell it's starting to get a lot more lush and enclosed than it was. Love this plant. Stops me in my tracks every time. This is Truncata squat nebularum. Looks so dark on the camera. And this is a whole tree branch I did with a few of them. Here's another one. Big pictures on this plant. Love the dark color. And they are just thriving on this wall. This one is huge and so dark. They look so happy and healthy, super lush. Love the leaf size, the color, very vibrant green. I ended up getting all that cork at a reptile show, and I'm like, I need a tree branch wall. And I honestly didn't want to put real nebularums on here. I don't know, I just felt like I wanted to keep those on the table. But these are so happy on here. They probably would do good on here too. We have some orchids. Phalaenopsis bellina. These smell so good. A couple of them in bloom. Everything looks amazing in here though. Really good. You could see the back area loaded with Nepenthes. We got the nebularums up here. My coffee, let me have a sip of that. Coffee and Nepenthes, gotta love it. But these are the nebs. They are growing, they're filling in, doing pretty well. Nice dark pictures, that beautiful compact growth. They look so good. Excited to see this one. It's pretty squat and tubby. And we also just made pure horticulturally produced seed, the first in the United States with our nebularum. I bred two of the beauties together, and hopefully we'll get some nice different individuals out of the seed. I'd like to get some tubbier, squatter ones like Exotica has. Beautiful Truncata. This is the Truncata table. But of course we have neb and a few other plants up in here. I had to throw some veitchii on here too. I think every bench will have veitchii so that I can never be too far away from them. Here's a huge one. Hard to get this one in the camera. That is a cutting from Exotica's giant male that they breed with. I've been asking Jeff for a while, do you think you would ever get me a cutting? I was surprised that they had one. So happy to have it in the collection and eventually breed with it. It really is, for the size of the cutting, getting bigger pictures than almost any of the truncata here. Here's a nice Veitchii. This is Candy Dreams crossed with Candy Queen. Look at that color! There's some more giant truncata in the back. Finally bred this one and put a lot of really good stuff on here. So many truncata. It's one of EP's newer H-Grexes, the squat one. Ooh, here is a nice Platykyla. Stunning species, love it. Also in the past year I've made that too, horticulturally produced platy here. It's amazing to just make things from seed. I'll never do tissue culture with our species. I'll only rely on making everything from seed. I figure there's plenty of nurseries doing tissue culture, which is cloning from either a seed or cells of the plant, and I won't ever do that. I will stand next to our seed grown only practices. Just takes more patience, but in the meantime there are plenty of other plants and even hybrids to take the pressure off poaching or getting them from unreliable or not good sources. So we're doing what we can here. This is a stunning Ventricosa trismatiensis edwardsiana. Look at the ribbing on the peristome of this thing. Zooming in, we're zooming in. Look at that. It's like a Hariana. One of my favorites right here, this is Nepenthes carmelita, which is truncata ovata cross Veitchii Candy Dreams, named it after my mom. She loved burgundy, and she was a squat Italian woman. Love it. It's such a beautiful plant, and still has a lot more to go. It's definitely steady, so I can't wait to see how big it will get. It should get huge, those pictures. A newer Grex from Exotica, loving these. These are Loea Veitchii, Basciana Veitchii, Maxima Veitchii, cross Edwardsiana. This one is so chunky. This one is so flared. Look at the flare on that. So we're gonna see who's gonna be the prime plant out of, they're all gonna be prime, but who will be the top one that I'm thinking these two. Either one of those is going to be it. That one got flare, but this one's so chunky and thick. And again, they have a lot more maturing to do. Here's an itty bitty tiny baby on one I made a few years back. Northiana cross Veitchii Candy Dreams, starting to get stripes. They're going to be insane. I cannot wait to see those. What a great Grex to create. Northiana Veitchii has always been a stunning hybrid, but with Candy Dreams should be one of the best Grexes ever made, so I can't wait to see how they turn out. A stunning Nebularum cross Edwardsiana. Super toothy. EP did not release many of these, only 2 to us, and this is the one I kept. And it's starting to get some pretty big pictures, and the teeth on it are just awesome. Look at these huge truncata Edwardsiana. Big 19-inch pitchers. If I can get them in there. Huge. Definitely a standout. Nothing on the bench outshines this plant. It is just so big. Look at it. Just towering pitchers above everything. There is a Loei truncata trismatiensis. Really good shape on her. Ooh, love this one. Loea Veitchii, Basciana Veitchii, Maxima Veitchii, cross Veitchii Candy Dreams. It's an older faded pitcher, but still looking quite nice. Maxima Veitchii, Sadowac Red from Exotica, an old classic, and always a stunner. But definitely really happy with the plants, and that's why I thought it would be time for a tour. A lot of people have been asking, but I'm like, what am I going to show them? I feel like there are no pictures, but there are pictures now. Here is Truncata mollis, like a big mollis. This though, Lingulata truncata. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the blackest, most purple blueberry pitcher of them all? It is Lingulata truncata. Look at her. I call this one Maleficent in my head. It even has the little horn up there underneath the lid. But super dark. This plant is a true standout. I bred this one with Candy Dreams. I have no clue what it will do, but we're going to find out. There's only a couple of them, but could be really cool. It's a nice hybrid I made. This one is Loea Vicia Basciana Vicia Maxima Vicii crossed with Ime Vicii. I just love how big and dark the peristome gets on this one. So dark and shiny. And it just got a nice huge leaf jump, so I can't wait to see how big that picture will be. Oh, here's another one. Vicii M. Jacquelineae. Beautiful plant. Huge pictures. This thing's pretty big. And definitely another one that calls your attention when you see it on the bench. Super dramatic. Got some more Loei truncata, Rocobosciana Vicii, Mollis Vicii I made. Love that one. These are looking good. Nebularum cross Clypeata. It's a big picture. But it's so nice to just look on the camera and see all the color that's now on the bench. There were a lot of leaves just a few months ago. Here's another truncata, Edwardsiana. Wow. This is looking good. This one is Loea Vicia Basciana Vicia Maxima Vicii cross Loea Vicii Tivii cross Platykyla. Oh my god. Both parents are pretty flared and stripy, and with that platy in there, this plant should produce ridiculous upper pitchers. There's a really nice platy hybrid we're going to see in the back of the greenhouse, actually. Adjusting my camera strap, guys, sorry. This is really cool. And I believe this one is, yes, it's Rocco Exotica Basciana Vicii cross Platykyla villosa. Sometimes it takes me a minute to reach in my brain and figure out what it is, but this is an upper pitcher on that, and it's looking so cool. Platykyla is so strong, even when it's really deeply mixed in with things. It's Nebularum cross Vicii Maxima Vicii, just putting out its first pitcher from the EP import. And as we go back here, the pitchers will become a little more sparse, but there still are a lot of pitchers. This is Ventricosa sibunensis trismatiensis. I love this plant. I call it Big Mouth. It has a big mouth. A lot of times I just come up with names that I don't publicly say, just keep them in my head for when I'm breeding with them that I'll remember which one it is. This is super nice, Vensib hamada from Exotica. Look at that peristome. I ended up getting the benches 6 foot, or wait, am I correct? Yeah, 6 foot wide, so I could reach in on each side, but jam-pack them with as many Nepenthes as I could fit on them. Reaching in, Truncata ovata upper. I'll see it from the other side, it's hard to actually get to. Ooh, an old classic Stenophila truncata, or truncata stenophila. It's truncata stenophila. The order matters. Here is a Sumatrana Lowii Vicii. Love this one. These are pretty contrasty. I made this a few years back. Spectabilis Vicii. Love that. And same kind of colors going on with Truncata Crossvigelii. This is like an upper pitcher. Loved this one. It kind of has that melting peristome. Really cool. Glanduliferous Burbigiae uppers. This one though, Truncata Sibunensis Northiana Vicii. Huge pitchers, very compact plant. And this is just trunk sib. Big pitchers on this as well. It's just so amazing to see how some of the plants are doing and filling in. And there are also plants that I've struggled with that are just doing so good in here. It's like unbelievable. Here are some of the Aroids. They honestly don't look as good as they can right now. Trimmed a lot of them up. Have to repot some still. But we built this wall in the back. And I think they're going to be so amazing. The Morphophalus titanum is coming up right here. But it's going to look really good when this whole back wall fills in. The Aroids got the last bit of attention while moving everything over. The Nepenthes were kind of the priority. Here's a nice Peltata Lowii Truncata giant. It's getting that kind of big gaping Lowii mouth. This is an upper on Platykyla Crossedwardziana. Made this one, Lowii Vicii Bashiana Ime Vicii. I love this one. Very kind of squat, tubby pitcher, and I like how the color is just very solid. One color, bronze and red. I definitely can't reach in here and show you every plant, but I'm trying to show some that are catching my eye. This one is Chaniana cross Lowii Morelliana. It's so bright green. And that purple streak in the throat is cool. There are some lowland plants over here. Albomarginata F, the dark one from EP. Ampullaria Black Miracle is looking so good. I am going to make a dedicated lowland area, but honestly, Highland are my vibe. They always have done it, and I'll probably grow very few lowlanders, just mainly the really must-have species. Mainly species, actually, but they're all doing really good. They just wanted a little more toasty than in here. Mysturziana. The Morellianas are just starting to produce pitchers. This is a hybrid I've always liked with its ruffles. Mirabilis Winged Viking Ampullaria. I had a makeshift lowland tent in the front of our head house over winter, and they did okay, but I definitely lost some plants. This one is Viking Blue Frog. Some variegated Ampullarias. But overall, not too bad. We'll get the lowlanders back up and running. Sumatrana. The bicals are still growing back. They hated me. But other than that, most look good. Like I said, In this greenhouse, most all of the plants are doing better than they've ever done. I'm gonna actually turn this grow light on, guys. I just moved a lot of plants out of here, but we have a bibulus growing over the edge. Some Drosera down there. Here's some of the Heliamphora complex Drosera growing in a fish tank. They love it. There's no top on it. There's a heat mat under it just to give them some extra warmth. There's a few pings in front and some other plants here on the side. But I'm going to mainly use these shelves for seedlings and prop. And when we move to the next greenhouse, all of this will go over there, and look at all the seedlings here. That will all go in the next greenhouse and be separated out. So this will just be big, mature collection plants. Pretty much my greenhouse, and the next greenhouse will be where all the sale stuff goes. Let's see, there's a nice one back here. Spectabilis truncata bachiana cross Edwardsiana. These are big and beautiful. Starting to get that flare from the female. The uppers are really where the excitement can come in on this plant, as the other one has super flared, wavy peristome margins in the uppers. Spectabilis lowii ventricosa, giant form. This is Truncata spectabilis northiana. I hope to get some huge size out of that one. This has been so nice. Ventricosa sibunensis lowii truncata. Super dark pictures on this one. I love that kind of oily interior. I think I make up words when I'm looking at the plants, but you guys know what I mean. Here's a stunning Lingulata truncata, another one. Look at the size of the upper pitchers on this. Oh, does not want to be moved. Let me see if I could zoom in. Very backlit. But this one you could see. Huge and so dark. A lot of seedlings over here, thousands and thousands of seedlings and new creations. Not going to get into spoiling any of those, but if you were at the open house, you saw some juice. Truncata jacquelineae hiding in there. Rocco exotica bachiana vicii edwardsiana. Love this plant, Lowii vicii bachiana, cross Lowii truncata. It's like a black Lowii truncata. Nagabangzo edwardsiana. Nice pictures on that. These are nice. Iame vicii burbigiae. Exotica's giant one. Adriadnii burbigiae is coming back. This plant eats mice, it gets so big. These aren't the biggest pictures yet, but a pretty good size, and I love the color on them. I can't wait to see fall what happens. It will be our first fall in the greenhouse, so every greenhouse I had, no matter the fact that this one is so automated, every year, the first year is always learning, so I'm still in learning process all the way until next spring. Next year, I'll tweak it more, and then the third year, usually everything's right on point. But even as far as the light in here, we have automated shade screen that opens and closes, and I did have to, it's 50%, I did have to add some whitewash paint to the ceiling, the outer ceiling, climb the roof and spray it on to shade it just a little more. I could feel that kind of warm heat, the UV feel from the sun through the shade cloth, and I don't like feeling that. I don't think the plants do, but ever since spraying the shade, the light is definitely duller. I don't feel that feeling, and I am noticing bigger leaf jumps, so that is exciting. There are a lot of seedlings over here and cell trays looking good. Everything just looks so lush and vibrant in this greenhouse. It's just been insane to, you know, do everything in here. I've dreamed of greenhouses like this, and they really are paying off so much. I used to look at Exotica's seed trays like this and think, oh my god, I want my seed trays to look like theirs, and they're kind of starting to look like theirs. Everything's so healthy and lush and just so green. So definitely perfecting the craft in this greenhouse. So happy with how everything's turning out. Here's a nice one. Lowii Veitchii Bassiana, Veitchii Candy Dreams. RE55 I made a few years back. Here's its sibling. Look at the pictures on those. Proud daddy. We have a Peltata truncata Edwardsiana. Peltata Nagabangzo. Look at the color on this. And that reminds me, we missed a table that we're going to go to now. Don't get dizzy going through the foliage. Sometimes I see people's video on camera and it makes me so dizzy the way the camera kind of whips around. Here's a really dark one. This is Vent Sib Nagabangzo. Look at this thing! What a beautiful plant. It is a sight to behold in person. It has that Lingolata truncata color to it. But God, is that dark. We got some Ventricosa Sibunensis Edwardsianas here. Nice and toothy. These are looking good. Nebularum cross Platykyla. They're coming into uppers. The Platykyla influence is strong. Maxima TM over there. Here's a Ventricosa cross Edwardsiana. Super toothy. Love it. Truncata Fipiata Edwardsiana. These are super nice. I think there's more of these on the website too. I feel like people have no clue what these are going to do going by the response and sales to them, but Rocco Exotica Bassiana Veitchii A closed pear stone cross Veitchii Maxima Veitchii. These are going to be crazy if they look like this when they're small. These are Lowii Veitchii. Wait, am I right? No, these are Rocco Exotica Bassiana Veitchii cross Mollis. That same female super closed peristome. They're just starting to show hints of what they're going to do in the future, and it's looking very bright. Look at this one. Another one I feel like there wasn't a ton of interest in compared to other stuff. Don't pass those up. Also on the website. This one's a favorite. Rocco Bassiana Veitchii Maxima Stenophylla Lowii Rocco Veitchii. Oh my god. The color on this thing. The uppers are really where it's at, but the lowers aren't too shabby. This one's really nice. Lowii Veitchii Bassiana Maxima. Or it's Maxima Dark Lowii Veitchii Bassiana. Love that interior. Truncata Red Jacquelinie from Exotica. A newer release. Still getting some size. I can't wait to see what they do. This one's trying to spill over. Some more Truncata Macrophylla. But they're looking really good. I cannot wait to see these mature. We have some Nebularum Trismatiensis. But so happy with how things are looking. Here's a huge one growing against the wall. Truncata Giant Cross Bassiana. Really big pictures on this plant. And it's covered. Still some plants that need to be repotted on the sidelines, hanging on the wall. But they're getting their water, so they are happy. Well, I think that is good for now in this greenhouse. hopefully you guys saw enough. I mean, can we ever see enough? But I'm gonna head out to the head house and just show you guys just a little temperate carnivorous plant area out there with some nice plants. So let's go look at that. One last spin. Oh, and we have to see this Truncata F. alba. So beautiful and green. Oh, and I'm sorry, this Truncata squat too. I love it. I love them all. I can't wait just for another year to go by. If it looks this good in its first 6 months, it is going to be insane in a year. Just do our last minute glances. Everything is so green and beautiful. I'm so happy. And so much appreciation and thanks to all of our customers and followers for supporting us and making this dream happen. This wasn't just me. This is because of all of you too. So appreciate all of you. Thank you. And thanks for having an interest in what we love doing. It's so cool. I love plants, especially Nepenthes. Okay, let's go open this door. It might be loud for a minute, the air suction. Woo! So here are, I'm gonna shut these lights off so we could see. Here are some of the temperate collectors plants, mainly a lot of different fly traps. Sarcinia. This is my all-time favorite right now, Sarcinia king cobra. It does look like a cobra. Look at the pictures on this thing. So flared, such a big hood. This is also a nice one. We pull it to the front. Look at the pictures on this thing. They just remind me of something that was frosted with sugar. Candy. And this one I need to read the name. It's a PO1 Cross Montana from Jeremiah. There are a lot of perps in here. I find that the Pinguicula planifolia love growing in Akadama, just sitting in water. They've been doing really well in here. Pinguicula lutea, the yellow flowering ping, and our native one. So are the planifolia. Look at the perps though, they look so good. It's awesome to have an indoor grow space for perps. They don't need to be in here, but for the beautiful, you know, novelty hybrids, they really look a lot better when there's not wind, full sunshine, and rain beating them up. They're definitely babied in here. This one is Sun Visor, which is a sibling to King Cobra. Also huge hoods. Doesn't get that dark color as King Cobra though. It stays this beautiful green golden. We have a Drosophilum lusitanicum that's been doing well, a Aroids. But yeah, I just expanded down the other end with a flood tray for more prop, Venus flytraps, just different bog associate plants for outdoors, some Sarcinia seedlings. Everything looks so good. We just put up this shade cloth in here. It gets so toasty in here. There's no evaporative cooling, but the fans do a good job. This isn't plants, but this is our, while we're in here, I might as well show you. This is where I hold our water storage. We're going to be adding some rain storage on the outside to collect that good rainwater. We have our RO machine, pre-filters, where the magic happens and we repot our plants. And lastly, I'm not going to get into the bog gardens yet. We'll save that for a separate tour. But this is the outdoor area that we've been working on. It has really come together. Look at the pond. It looks like a swamp with that beaver dam inspired edge. We just got the spillway up down the end there with 2 huge slabs of rock. And there's already snakes and stuff living in there, so really nice to build a habitat for the native animals and creatures. But looking good, and can't wait to have you guys by year so you could see it change with us. I'm so excited to see how everything progresses over the next few years. Well, that concludes our first greenhouse tour in the new facilities. Everything's looking amazing. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I could go plant to plant, every plant, but my arm would fall off from holding the camera. I think we definitely saw some nice stuff, had a good time. I'm Dominic Ravine here at Redleaf Exotics. Thanks for tuning in. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. It's so helpful to our channel, and I'll see you soon on another video here at the nursery. Thanks, guys.